What's up, guys? This is Eric back again with a quick little tip for your LG V20. Now I'm going to go ahead and advise you that if you're not comfortable with removing screws on your LG V20, you're not taking anything apart as far as the motherboard or any of the insides. So if you're not comfortable doing that, then I suggest you just stop watching this video. But if you are tech savvy and you are comfortable doing that, then I'm going to show you a quick way to tighten your headphone jack. Now, as we all know, a lot of people have had issues with the LG V20 and their headphone jack being real loose and wobbly, and it has to do with the spacing issue between this bottom plate and the plate on the inside that covers the motherboard and everything, because the headphone jack is sitting in there. It's not hardwired, it's not soldered to anything. There's 4 pins that connect to the motherboard that the pins just sit on, and I guess each pin for each DAC. So it's not soldered or it's not connected to anything as far as making it sturdy or anything. It's just sitting in there, and there's a spacing issue that makes it loose. So I'm going to show you how to tighten that and to fill that space. And you could use anything from a business card to a little piece of plastic like I've got right here. This is just the packaging from a pushpin package, but a business card will work as well. And you're going to cut out a little rectangle piece to fit inside that gap and to fill it. And I'll show you how to get started. So first thing you want to do is pop your cover off. Set that aside. Take your battery out, where your phone's not coming on. And we are going to remove these 4 screws, or 5 screws, and then this screw right here, just to give it enough space just to lift this piece up so you could slide, whatever you use underneath that to fill the gap. And I got my case right here, that way I could put my screws in there and I don't lose them. So let's get started. Let's go over to remove these 4 screws. Now you don't want to lose these screws because you'll be screwed. Literally. So we're going to remove these screws. And by the way, this is just a precise screwdriver. It's a Phillips. Pretty easy to find. And you're going to remove these screws. And pop them in your case. That way, you flip your case over, you can put the screws in there and they're not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about them falling off the table or losing them. They're going to stay in the case. And then take off the last 5th screw right here, which is optional. You really don't need to lift this plastic piece up much. You could just slide it underneath. So then all you got to do is take this piece off, which just comes off pretty easy. It'll snap off like so. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the headphone jack, which is this piece right in here. Now this whole headphone jack sits underneath this on the inside, and it just sits there, so it's loose. As you can see, if I were to plug in my headphones to it, it wobbles a lot because it's just sitting in there, so there's a spacing issue. So we're going to fill that gap, and as you can see a little piece of plastic that I've already made. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, and this is what I cut out as far as to fill the gap. You can make it, like I said, out of a piece of plastic or a piece of cardboard. Just make sure it's roughly this shape. It doesn't really matter, but I made it to where this end is smaller than this end, and make it long enough to go from here to here, and that small end fits over the actual jack right there. The thick end fills the gap underneath it, and this whole back piece just sort of lifts up a little bit under there, as you can see. So all we're going to do is just slide it underneath it, And if you make it long enough, it's not going to keep going. It's going to stop right about here. It's going to stop right about there. So you just slide it underneath. Make sure it's hanging over the headphone jack. Right there. If I can get this to focus. Hanging over the headphone jack right there. And you should be good as far as it holding it. And then you're going to just slide this back on. And it'll slide over that piece of plastic or cardboard that you just made. And just snap it back on. And you're going to put your screws back on. One at a time. Put your 5 screws back on. Don't tighten anything yet. Just screw them in. Because I'm going to show you why. You can tighten this screw up top. It's fine. Now if you have tweezers, you could go ahead and use tweezers to get them, but I'm just sticking the screws on top of the screwdriver and then screwing it in. Now make sure you don't lose the screws. As you can see, do not mess with anything on the phone, do not mess with the motherboard, do not have to take anything else off other than this bottom piece. Now before you tighten the screws, you're going to want to just squeeze down. Squeeze the phone like that, or else you'll end up with a gap right here. Really not a big deal, but just squeeze down on it and then tighten the screws. Don't make them too tight, just tighten up. Like so. And all of that would keep pressure on that little piece of plastic that you just put on there and the headphone jack, as this will slide over it. And tightening the screws would fill the gap between this and the headphone jack. So other than that, now you can slide the headphone jack in there, and as you can see, there is no movement. And it's pretty simple. Anybody could do it, as long as you got the patience and just scissors and a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic, and you won't even notice. Nothing has been done to the phone. And other than that, you know, that's pretty much it. You put everything back together, put your battery in, put your back plate back on, and turn your phone back on. And everything will work just fine because you really didn't mess with anything as far as internals go. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. I try to come out with some videos every now and then. And enjoy this video, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. It's okay. Won't judge. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one.